court reporter. Um,
Yeah, this is Robert, the court coordinator. Um, the council of judges just let me know they're still looking for one right now, so they're gonna call me back in a bit.
Okay, no problem. Thank you. I appreciate that. Thank you, Robert. Just wait up. Mr. Solis?
Yes, ma'am, Your Honor, I'm here.
I was gonna ask, I think we might be able to, depending if everybody's in agreement, at least, do your motion to withdraw if you want to do it without a court reporter.
That's fine, Your Honor. In fact, I thought it was fine on the pleadings, but I'm happy to proceed without a court reporter.
Yeah, and the rest of the hearing, it's really more, it's a status, and we can see how we go. I know we're still waiting on a court reporter, but I just thought, unless somebody has any objection. So let me just go ahead and call the case, and let's just deal with the motion to withdraw right now, and then that'll take care of your business. Is that
Thank you.
okay? Yeah.
That's fine, Your Honor. Thank you.
At this time, the court calls 2020 0D06504 and 2020 0D01134, and this is the state of Texas versus Ari Rodriguez. May I have announcement of counsel, please?
Good afternoon, Your Honor. Jonathan Amder for the state.
And Eduardo Solis from Mr. Ari Rodriguez, Your Honor.
Mr. Shelley, you're on mute.
Thank you, Judge. Mr. Shelley, Ms. Page, and Mr. Avila for Mr. Rodriguez.
Terrific. Thank you so much. You may proceed, Mr. Solis.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Do you want me to
I'm
go ahead and swear Mr. Rodriguez in out of an abundance of caution?
Certainly.
Is that fine?
Yes,
Anybody-
Judge.
Okay. Mr. Rodriguez, can I get you to raise your right hand for me, please? Do you solemnly swear that the testimony you're about to give is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, terrific. Thank you so much. All right, you may proceed, Mr. Solis.
Thank you, Your Honor. I was about to say that I've been in the case for a very short period of time. I'm very unfamiliar with the enormous discovery. I understand there's lots of discovery and most of the facts. I've learned some of the facts in very broad brush strokes in that I did visit with Mr. Ari Rodriguez only one time. But now that I understand the controversy, at least as between the existing defense counsel prior to my appointment and whatever controversy existed with the state, if any, and with the presiding judge, has been resolved, I don't know that I'm really required to be in this case. I'm happy to follow any judge's order to do whatever is required within the bounds of ethical conduct. But I'd really like to withdraw and that I don't see any need for me to be in the case, Your Honor. I think he's got counsel, he's got 3 counsel, he's got a whole office of public defenders to assist, unlimited resources, so to speak, with the public defender's office. So for all those reasons, Your Honor, I don't think I need to be in the case. And so I'm asking respectfully to withdraw, Your
All right. Is there any objection from the from the public defender's office? Mr. Shelley, you're on mute again. Sorry.
My apologies. We have no objection, Judge.
All right. Mr. Rodriguez, do you understand what's happening?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay. So at this time, do you have any objection to Mr. Solis withdrawing? I think you're being very ably defended by the public defender's office, but do you have any objection?
No, Your Honor.
Okay, terrific. Thank you. There you go, Mr. Solis. And if you could send me, or you may have already sent me, have you emailed me an order?
I did, Your Honor. It's attached to
Okay.
the motion.
Okay, let me print that out and I'll get that to Mr. Vasquez, and so we can get that filed. And it is granted.
Thank you, Your Honor. May I be excused, Your Honor?
Yes, you surely may be.
Thank you.
You're welcome. So really what I wanted to do is kind of try to figure out where we are in this case in terms of what hearings are necessary. If y'all want to wait on a court reporter for that, I'm willing to do it. But if y'all want to have maybe just an informal discussion and maybe look at some dates in our calendars to try to pin down what we need to resolve both of these cases, I'm willing to do that as well.
Thank you, Judge. And I think we can proceed at least on the procedurally on and regarding dates without the court reporter, because I don't think anybody wants to be at the mercy of the court reporter if we ever have one. So
Well, I'm not, so that's why I was thinking, I thought, well, we'll give a court reporter an opportunity to show up so we could do everything the way we normally do, but if not, then, we do things ad hoc then, right? We
Yes.
just try to do the best that we can with what we've got in front of us. So I have not had an opportunity to look at the case file at all. I do know that there was, I think it was, that there was a trial or an attempted trial in May, but there was a mistrial granted. And so procedurally, I assume we need to set a new trial date. And am I correct in thinking this trial will take approximately 5 days?
Judge, if I may jump in,
Please.
I think that's going to be hard to calculate, but my suspicion is it's going to take a bit longer than 5 days if we are going to call the witnesses that we anticipate calling, and if the defense anticipates putting on their experts. And I guess that's the defense would be in a better position to answer to that piece of the equation. But if I could just fill you in really quickly, I think a big part of of what caused much of the undoing of the last trial centered on 702 issues. And so I suspect that the defense is probably going to want to have their 702 hearings on our experts, and we'd at this point ask to do it. Now, whether the court wants to do them in advance or during the trial would also affect, I think, the length of the trial. But I put on, I think it was 4 or 5 doctors for my case, and the defense had 2 experts coming in from out of town for theirs. So if we were to not have the 702s before the jury gets impaneled and start the trial, then that would increase, obviously, the length of the trial by probably potentially 2 or 3 days at least, I think.
Yeah, and that's kind of why I'm trying to get a handle on how much time are we going to need for trial. My sense of it is, my preference is to conduct the 702 hearings prior to trial, and then we go to trial. So and I'm hearing, based on what you're telling me, that altogether we're talking about a hearing that we're going to have to conduct in regards to, essentially, you said 4 doctors and maybe 2 experts, so maybe 6 witnesses. Is that what I'm hearing, or not?
No,
Yes.
I think that's right, and I may be off. It may be I'm trying to remember, and I've had a handful of trials since then, and my
Sure.
brain's a little scrambled, Judge. But
Sure.
it was 4 or 5 doctors that I put on, and
Okay.
then the defense's witnesses, I think as well. Their 2 experts, the 702s would take a while, and if all of the witnesses, all the 6 or 7 or however the math goes, witnesses are all allowed in, then I think we're also looking at several days of testimony. I think my experts, if I recall correctly, I got to put on mine. And please correct me, colleagues in the PD's office, if I'm wrong, but I think if you look at my experts in the last trial, I think they were probably about 3 solid days of testimony, if I recall correctly. And while the defense was not able to get their witnesses on past the 702, my suspicion is each well, I think it's probably my guess, and they'd know better than I would, probably at least a day and a half between the 2 of them would be my guess.
All right. So what I was thinking was, if we can try to maybe tentatively look at some trial dates and then work backwards for 702 hearing dates prior to then. But I'm also thinking, and so y'all, I'm just talking out loud here, is then your experts and your doctors have to come to the courthouse twice, right? And are the experts, Mr. Shelley, are your experts having to fly in from out of town?
They do, Judge, and just that the court is aware, one of the experts for the state, which was Dr. Rios Torres, testified via Zoom. And we agreed at the time to have that Zoom testimony done. So there was, just to be sure, there were 4 experts by the state which were presented. For 702 that were denied pretty much. And we have 2 experts that at this point, the previous trial, we presented 2 experts, which were not allowed to testify, but I think there was testimony regarding them. So as far as the length of the trial, Judge, I believe that we're going to have 2 weeks is a maximum. I don't, for a number of different reasons, the previous trial lasted far longer than it should have. I think if we do work diligently, between 8 and 5, we should be done way before 2 weeks, in my opinion. There was no reason to have a trial last so long last time, but that's a different, problem. I think the 702 and I agree with Mr. Anmu, we should have the 702 prior to trial, but I think we can have them because the 702 is very limited as to what we're going to do. So I think we can handle that in 2 days fairly easily. At least our expert, I don't expect it to last more than a day.
All right. And then so let's look at hopefully y'all have your calendars nearby. I understand that this case has been pending a long time. And for Mr. Rodriguez, I would like to do it as quickly as possible. Having said that, the difficulty is going to be, and I hope Mr. Vasquez is still with us. The difficulty is, okay, terrific, thank you, I appreciate that. The difficulty is going to be coordinating in terms of getting a courtroom and a court reporter and a bailiff available to us, and coordinating that with the 168th, because I'm sure they have their docket. And then when we start coming across, the holidays and Thanksgiving and Christmas, it just gets more difficult. Let me ask you this, Mr. Vasquez. If we were looking at reserving or conducting a 2-week trial, how would we do? What's available for the 168 to be able to handle something like that right now?
So if we're going to order a jury, it's going to take us 6 weeks. That's how long the jury hall requires for us to give them 6 weeks notice.
Okay. And what availability do y'all have for us to have that, to do that trial in your courtroom?
It would depend on the dates.
Okay, so I guess what I'm asking is, when is the first available 2-week period that you have? And does that make sense?
It does. I'm looking at the calendar right now and trying to look at 6 weeks ahead. The first 2 weeks in November. And potentially the 3rd week.
Okay. I could do it November 1st. That's a Friday. All the way through, I think the 12th. I know that the 11th is a holiday. I have already commitments in Dallas on Wednesday, the 13th and the 20th, and I need to find out when I need to be in Dallas. But I don't know, that would be kind of difficult.
The first 2 weeks in December are also open, Judge.
Yeah, I'm committed to oral argument at the Dallas Court of Appeals on Wednesdays is my problem. Ooh, we could do it possibly. I know this is, I could maybe December 9th to December 20th, tentatively.
That's open, Judge.
We wouldn't judge. We have actually Miss Page and I are involved in a aggravated sexual assault case, which is December, I believe, 13 in the 346. We had a prior trial setting. We ran the panel on that case. So I just that the court know that December date, we expect that case to move forward then. I think this is my suggestion, Judge, is for the court to provide, if it's possible, several dates before the end of the year, because on our end, we obviously are going to have to reach out to our expert, and I'm sure Mr. Anmoore might be in the same situation, and see when they are going to be available. So committing to a date is going to be difficult, but if there was some kind of range, or at least when the court would be available, that would be helpful. I will also let the court know that we would be requesting today or by tomorrow a bond hearing, which is a separate issue. But in terms of the trial, I would suggest that the court has different date provide, because we run into that problem last time. And we probably can conduct some of these 702. I don't have a problem right now, and I have not spoken with co-counsel, but maybe have them over Zoom if it streamline and facilitate the procedure.
Yeah, I don't, as long as your client, and are in agreement, I don't have any problem with doing things, those kinds of hearings over Zoom. And that would really, I think, and maybe that would, facilitate the experts in terms of getting their testimony. I mean, and if we have to do it in if we have to do a day here or a morning or afternoon here and there, I don't have a problem with that either. Does that make sense? I think that and really, I think that's going to be on the availability of the experts, and then we don't need a courtroom. We just need the court reporter, right?
Yes.
And obviously all of our availability. I really think that in terms of a trial, given that I'm already committed to the Dallas Court of Appeals in November and December, it's going to be hard to work around that. The only time that we could do it, but we'd have to finish the trial in like 6-7 days.
And I would experience give me pause, and I don't
Okay.
know.
Okay, that's what I needed to hear. Okay, then we're looking at January. And I think it's easier, hopefully, to get your experts in if we have, unfortunately, keeping in mind that I do think Mr. Rodriguez deserves a trial as quickly as possible, and I'm glad he's here so he can understand and listen to all of the problems that we encounter to get everybody together to put this on. But I think we're probably looking at January.
Judge, respectfully, I think that's more realistic for everybody's schedule.
I understand that. I was just hoping and trying and crossing my fingers to see if we could do something, because right now my January is completely open. I had a trial that they were trying to schedule, but it hasn't been scheduled yet. And I have one trial for a week in February, so I'm open for all of January.
Well,
And go ahead. I was going to say, Mr. Shelley, and I think out of an abundance of caution, we should probably just go ahead and call it 2 weeks just in case, and hopefully be able to complete it. And if we say January, let's say January 6th through the 17th, which is 10 days for y'all. And if we have that date, then we can work on the 702 between now and the end of the year.
and I don't disagree, Judge. My one of the big concern I have about January is not related to anybody here, but it's related to the new DA who may or may not jump in. So my concern is I don't know, if Mr. Hicks stays in office, if he doesn't, how it will be impacting who's going to be on the DS side for this case. Hopefully I still have my job in January, but I think on the district attorney side, I don't know how it's going to play out. And obviously, if Mr. Rodriguez can get out on a bond after we have a hearing, that change the dynamic of how pressing it is, even though it is very pressing. So that's another, unfortunately, wrinkle that I want remind the court that we may have to face back in January.
And you may be right, but that's something none of us right now sitting here have any control over. And so all we can do is drive this thing to where we need it to be. And it's going to be whatever it's going to be in January. And so I can't,
it is what it is.
It is what it is. I mean, you're not available in December. I mean, we could try to do it by the first 2 weeks of November, but we'd have to have our 702 hearings in the next 45 days over the end of October.
Judge,
yes.
if I may, I was thinking about November as well, as before you said that. And I think we'd all love to see this trial go fairly and quickly, but if we're not done by the 13th, that's going to create a real problem. And I think if we consider that the 11th is a holiday, that really only leaves us, 7 work days, unless you were to have us come in on the weekend. I just think that's very tight.
Well, how about it? So let me ask this question. If we were to start, because the only thing I've got is on the 13th. So if I were able somehow miraculously to figure that out, I don't know that I can, but if we have the 1st through the 15th of November, does anybody see any conflict there? Other than the fact that we've got 6 experts, we've got to try to pull in for 702s, which we could do by Zoom, and then have them scheduled sometime in those first 2 weeks of November.
if we're able to do it from the 1st through the 15th and finish, I've got no issues, and that's a reasonable margin of error. But just to let everybody know, I have travel plans um starting on the 14th. Um no, actually that's not true. I'm sorry, it's the following week. It's so we
Okay,
have a
the
little more
20th.
margin. Yes,
Yeah,
ma'am.
yeah. No, I do too. I'm going somewhere for Thanksgiving, so we gotta be done by the 23rd, because I gotta go somewhere else to eat my turkey. So I'm not gonna, so I mean, as long, yeah, I need to see, I haven't con confirmed the exact amount of time that they need me in Dallas. And so I need to figure that out. How about, Robert, if we can we tentatively, um, and I say the first because, um, when I was a prosecutor, how do you like those kinds of stories? We used to start, well, I was with Judge Garcia, Patrick Garcia. I think I was his first felony prosecutor. So there you go. That's a long time ago. But um, we used to do voir dire on Friday, and we'd pick our jury and go home, and we'd start Monday morning fresh with, with our trial, and kind of like that. But it's, unless somebody has an objection to
That would
that,
be
and then that way it just, I don't know. Hopefully, maybe we'll have some momentum, and we can get things completed as, um, I don't want to say quickly, but efficiently as we can.
yeah.
Keeping in mind that we want to make sure that all of y'all have enough time to present all of the evidence that you need to present to the jury in order for them to reach their conclusion, right?
Yes,
Yeah.
and I'm looking at our calendar. I don't know about Miss Page and Mr. Avila, but November doesn't seem to be a problem on this date, with the caveat that the 168 as a jury trial for Mr. Mohammed set to begin on November 1st. So I don't know if it would impact in terms of staffing. I'm thinking about that. Whether or not it's going to go, that's, I don't know, and I think Mr. Mohammed also has doesn't have Judge Lizarraga as a different judge.
I was going to say that, unfortunately or unfortunately, I'm familiar with his case, given the number of opinions we've issued from the Eighth Court of Appeals. So yeah, I understand that. I believe it's Judge Shields is going to be doing that case. And he's been incarcerated, I think, going on 10 years now, pretrial incarceration.
He has been, he's out on bond.
Oh, that's right. That's right. Now I remember that. Yes, that's right.
But
Yeah, it just was, yeah. So,
that I thank you for pointing that out, Mr. Shelley. Judge,
yeah,
I'm supposed to be on that trial as well.
are,
I can see within my office if I can be moved off of it without prejudicing our case. But as I'm sure the court is aware, we're pretty thin on the second
no, I
floor.
know. And well, and that's my question to you, Mr. Vasquez, is given the fact that you've got Mr. Muhammad scheduled with Judge Shields, we probably wouldn't be able to to do our case at the same time, right?
It would take some coordination because I would need to get a court reporter and a bailiff.
And does the Council of Judges have bailiffs? I thought they have one, at least one, don't they?
They do.
It'd be really difficult, I think.
What the other thing, Judge, I was thinking is, okay, we were hoping we can have a trial during that period. If unfortunately we are not able to have that, could we have at least the 702 as a backup date? Because doesn't require the same logistical problem. If we all agree to have that over Zoom, then that even if we don't have the trial, we can get that out of the way. And that might help. So to keep these dates, even if we don't proceed to trial as a backup for Zoom, 702 hearing.
Yeah, I mean, we can do that in probably, yeah, the later that the 702 hearing is, like in November, I think it's easier for you to coordinate getting your experts to testify, even if it's over Zoom, right? For both of y'all?
As long as I'm not in trial on the Muhammad case.
Oh, that's right. That's right.
And again, Judge, I can check and see if I can be pulled off if that's what the court's going to need me to do. But if I can't for whatever reason and I'm conflicted out, then I just don't see how I'd be able to do this even by Zoom.
Okay, how about in October, like the week of the 14th? I'm open October 28th, 29th, and 30th, Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday of that week. I'm open different days. Let's say, how long do you anticipate Mr. Muhammad's going to be in trial?
I think that's another one that could last a couple of weeks. Mr. Muhammad is very entrenched in his defense, and it's not going to be a quick trial.
He represented himself pro se with us, so I'm familiar with his posture. I also have November 18th and 9th, I think the 19th open, and November 21st and 22nd. And then I have December open with the exception of Wednesdays. And I might have to leave Tuesday afternoon to go to Dallas.
I would defer to Ms. Page and Mr. Avila. They have a heavier docket than I do. So if they are available, I would be available. But I don't know their docket on this day, Judge, and they can let us know.
Judge, this is Robert. We have a court reporter logging on.
Okay, terrific. I'll just call the case and then just out of an abundance of caution, like I say. Thank you, Robert.
Court reporter's ready, Judge.
Okay, terrific. The court calls cause number 2020-0D06504 and 2020-0D01134, the state of Texas versus Rodriguez. Just for the purpose of the record, may I have announcement of counsel, please?
Good afternoon, Your Honor. Jonathan Amder for the state.
Good afternoon. Frank Shelley, Mirna Page, Josh Avila for Mr. Rodriguez.
All right. And let the record reflect that Mr. Rodriguez is also present with us today. I think, given our discussion, what I'll do is set out some dates for the 702 hearing. And I don't know if I have everybody's email. I may have everybody's email, and email y'all and give some dates. And I'll make sure Mr. Vasquez will be able to set us up with Zoom on that, on the 702 hearings. So then that way you'll have a schedule maybe to choose from, depending on, you've got 4 experts for the prosecution, and possibly 2 experts for the defense. So even if we have to do it a morning here and an afternoon here, if it's a half day, I'm fine. I'm fine with doing things all day as well. So let me do that. So at least we will start moving on those 702 hearings. And then I'm going to probably, depending on the availability of the courtroom of the 168, tentatively look at those 2 weeks in January, notwithstanding, yes, I understand, a possible, change in the DA's office, but I mean, I don't see any other way around it.
Yes.
The only other way is, and I'll check if I can get free. See, the November date would be contingent on two things, in that the state would have to be able to be available, the prosecutor, and then I'd have to be available, and so I'll look at that as a possibility, but I think probably at this point, let me do that, so that way you have it in front of you with your calendars, and y'all can get together with I think more importantly, get together with your experts to find out when they may be available.
I think that the other request, Judge, I would make is we will, as I mentioned, we would be filing a motion for a bond hearing, and I don't know what date the court would have available. Obviously, you want to see the motion, but it'll be a standard motion. I just wanted to see if there was a possibility to have it next week, for example.
Next week, and you want to do that in person, right?
Well,
I'm fine with that. I'm fine with that.
If the court is, and I don't know if you are in El Paso, if you were not, I would say, we would, because I would like to have the earliest date as possible. But if the court is available in person, yes.
Okay. What I am trying a case out of town, but they're telling me it'll be 3 days, so I will be back Thursday night right now. We could tentatively set it, depending on the availability of the courtroom and the court reporter. Probably, to be honest with you, the week of the 23rd. I hate to tell you, I could do it on Friday morning, and the trial, I'm going to be in Kinney County, is going to go long, and then I won't be able to get back in time for the bond hearing.
And we could do it over Zoom also if it make it easier and faster for the court.
I'm
Except
either in trial or I'm driving home.
fair enough.
It's gonna be, I'm gonna be, and then it's like 7 hours away. So I just think Mr. Vasquez, do you have availability for a bond hearing on the 23rd, 24th, or the 25th?
Right now, it looks like I can move a couple of things, and the 24th in the afternoon, starting at 2 is doable.
Okay, I'm fine with that.
That works for us.
Okay. The state?
I think that can work.
Okay, let's do that, and we'll do that in person at 2 on the 24th. And I haven't, but I've got to figure out my commitment to the Dallas Court of Appeals, and then
Judge,
I will, yes,
is that going to be in person or by Zoom?
in person.
Okay,
Is that okay?
that's fine.
I think hopefully all of us can do that.
Yeah.
Now, Mr. Rodriguez will be there. Okay, so 2 o'clock in person on the 24th for a bond hearing for Mr. Rodriguez. And I'll send an email. I'm going to try this afternoon, but if not, well, you'll get one no later than early next week.
And just to be sure, Judge, because I don't know how the court reporter system works, but we obviously would be asking for a court reporter. I know in the past we have to actually ask, for example, in JMAG, like specifically for a court reporter. So I'm making that request just in an abundance of caution, as you mentioned.
Yeah, no, that's fine. And Mr. Vasquez, we need a court reporter for the bond hearing.
I don't foresee a problem with that date.
Okay, terrific. All right.
Good.
Anything further from anybody?
Nothing from the state, Your Honor.
Okay.
Things from the defense, unless Ms. Page or Mr. Avila have something else.
Oh.
I
All
don't.
right. All right. Thank you so much. Then we're adjourned, and I'll see all of y'all at the bond hearing on the 24th. And I will try to get some tentative dates out. If not this afternoon, then early next week.
Thank you, Judge.
All right. Thank you. All right. Thank you. And I appreciate everybody's wonderful cooperation. So
Thank you.
look forward to seeing you guys again.
Likewise.
Thank you,
Okay.
Judge.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Bye-bye.
Judge.